Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another game preview. Everton take on Fulham at Craven Cottage tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We're here to preview the game, we're here to give my predicted starting 11, we're here to talk about all things Everton. It is Friday, it is the weekend, Everton play. Can we get a fourth straight win on the bounce? Can we get a fourth straight clean sheet on the bounce? I suppose we'll have to see. Obviously, facing Fulham. Fulham literally relegated from the Premier League. So at the minute, all as they are playing for is pride. They're playing to enjoy themselves. And they're playing to literally enjoy the last 4 or 5 matches or whatever we've got left of the Premier League before they go back down to the Championship. And let me tell you, having watched Fulham a little bit this season, I do think they'll really struggle to come back up to the Premier League in the next few years. Certainly, there's some fantastic sides in the Championship and they just haven't been on par whatsoever this season. Of course, they spent a load of money in the summer, bought the likes of Seri, the midfielder, Andre Schürrle, of course, who we know, the former Chelsea player, but it didn't quite click for them this year. It really didn't click, and you know, they've gone through numerous managers, Premier League winning manager Claudio Ranieri, and now they've got ex-player Scott Parker, of course. But anyway, listen, at the end of the day, it's not about Fulham, it's about the Blues, it's about Everton Football Club, it's about Marco Silva's men going out there tomorrow and proving why we are one of the best teams in the Premier League. We've done it against Chelsea, we've done it against Arsenal, we've beaten the top 6 sides that we had that case about, but we need to go out there now and make sure that we can beat the literal worst teams in the league. The other team that have been relegated officially is Huddersfield, of course. Huddersfield took a point away from Goodison Park, I believe, this season. So, listen, we know it's not a guaranteed win. We know we're not going to definitely go there and blow them away and get 3 points. We should, and that should be the expectation. We should go out tomorrow and we should win 4 or 5-0, but I'm not holding up to that. And, you know, at the end of the day, if we go out and we win 1-0, that's just as good as going out and winning 6-0 like we proved last weekend against Arsenal, where we could have scored another 3 or 4 goals, but we didn't. But we still won the game and we still got the 3 points. Like I said, on paper, this one is a lot easier than last week. It's a lot easier than the West Ham game. It's a lot easier than the Chelsea game. But if football was played on paper, Liverpool wouldn't be anywhere near the top of the league. And if football was played on paper, we'd probably be guaranteed the European space at the minute because of the players and the personnel that we've got. But, of course, it's not played on paper at all, so there's no guaranteed wins in football and there's no guaranteed win for Everton tomorrow. Like I said there, some teams do really crumble under pressure, and Fulham may well have been one of those sides. They're playing for literally nothing now other than pride and to enjoy the last few games of football, and that might give them a little bit of a boost and that might give them a little bit of confidence. However, we need to make sure we need to go out and do the job tomorrow. It should be a professional, clean win for Everton Football Club tomorrow. Marco Silva needs to set his team out to go out there and just get the 3 points. Basically, nothing less than 3 points is acceptable. I don't mind if we win 1-0 or 6-0 or 4-0, but we need to get them 3 points. Nothing less than that is acceptable, of course. Listen, like I said, it should on paper be an easy victory, but you know, we never know these days, do we? We never know. But let's hope it is. Let's hope Everton go out and we make it easy. Let's hope we go out and we go there and you're sitting there watching the game and you're going, bloody hell, this is dead easy. We're 4-0 up within the first half an hour. This is proper easy. Let's go and blow Fulham away, because we blew West Ham away and West Ham are miles better than Fulham. We blew Arsenal away and they're challenging for the Champions League place, and we blew Chelsea away and they're currently the 3rd best team in the league. So let's go out there and blow, you know, one of the worst teams in the league out, you know, out the park. No disrespect to Fulham, of course, but that's exactly what we should be doing. I don't want to see us going to Fulham and Craven Cottage tomorrow and struggling. I want to see us going and performing exactly like we have in the last 3 weeks and coming away with another win and another clean sheet, and let's hope Marco Silva's Blues can do that. I'm just going to tweet this team out so that everybody knows we are live on Twitter. Everybody can come and join and talk about the game. How boss does it feel to sit here and talk about, you know, a game, an upcoming game, and just being high hopes, just being high spirits, because you know Everton are boss. You just know we're literally probably going to go out. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say what I was about to say, but you know, in the last 3 weeks, we've gone out and blew the teams that we've played away. Like we've all said before, I'm not going to go into it again, but we've said since that 17-day break, we really have seen a massive improvement from Marco Silva's team. I'm talking every single game, blowing Cardiff away, standing up against Liverpool, blowing West Ham away, absolutely battering Chelsea, absolutely battering Arsenal. It really was just that Newcastle game that let us down a little bit, but you can forgive that if, you know, we're going to carry on this decent run of form until the end of the season, and it needs to carry on again tomorrow. You know, at the end of the day, listen, it's an Everton thing to do, to go out to Craven Cottage tomorrow and just get turned over, but let's hope that we've turned the corner now and we don't, and let's hope Marco Silva has exactly the same team talk with the lads before this game as he had before the Arsenal game, and that being, this isn't going to be an easy win. You need to go out, you need to fight, and you need to give it 150%. I want to see 150% from Dominic Calvert-Lewin tomorrow. I want to see 150% from Bernard. I want to see 150% from Richarlison, because we've seen all that last Sunday against Arsenal, and we needed all that because Arsenal have got some decent players. Dominic Calvert-Lewin give those defenders an absolute nightmare all day. He needs to go and do that against Fulham now. I don't want to see any players turning up going, these are shite, we'll win this game anyway. We'll get into second gear on 60 minutes. You know, even if they score first, we'll still beat them. I don't want to see that. I want to see us going out in 6th gear from minute 1 and absolutely obliterating Fulham out the park. And then if you're 2-3-0 up, 4-0 up within the first half, then you can sit back in the second half and go, okay, a little bit more of a composed performance. But I don't want to see anybody's concentration levels drop. I don't want to see heads drop, and I don't want to see us thinking that we're miles better than Fulham and going, you know what, we've easily won this game before it's even kicked off, because we haven't. Because like I said, Fulham are playing for nothing. They're relegated. So Fulham are going to come out and they just going to want to have fun, literally. Scott Parker will only be saying to them, listen, this ain't my fault. I've only just come in, so just go out there and play footy and do what you love doing. And, you know, try and get something out the game, but at the end of the day, enjoy yourself, because it's one of your last Premier League games you're going to play in a long time. And sometimes that could, you know, that could have a negative effect on Everton, but we need to make sure that it doesn't. Martin says, Neres and Belotti from Torino will be a good replacement for Walcott and Tosun. They'd be a fantastic replacement for Walcott and Tosun if we can bring them in, but don't know if we can. We'll talk about Neres in just a minute. We have been linked with a move for David Neres. He's an Ajax winger, estimated to cost around €40 million. Very good player, very promising young player as well. Martin says, I'll bring Keane in for Jags. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute when we go over the predicted starting 11. It's the title of today's stream, of course. Let us know your thoughts in the live comments and in the comment section down below. Do you think Phil Jagielka deserves to keep his place in this starting 11, or would you bring Michael Keane in? Obviously, Michael Keane missing out on the Arsenal victory due to illness. Phil Jagielka coming in literally within minutes before kickoff and ended up scoring the winning goal, and more importantly for me, putting a really top defensive performance in. So let's hope that, you know, whoever plays there, whether it's Keane or Jagielka, does exactly that tomorrow as well. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Jack says, yes, should get Ashley Young at right back. He's so good. No, mate. Don't go anywhere near him. He's a load of shite. I know you're winding me up. Jonathan says, need Zuma and Gomez in first. Yeah, exactly. If we can sign both of them, then it'll be a decent start to the summer. I'm not too sure we'll be able to pull off the Zuma transfer just because of the Chelsea transfer ban and their situation. But I am confident about Andre Gomez signing on a permanent, I must say. Anyway, we'll go into the predicted starting 11 now, because why not? Basically, it's a game preview. That's what you're doing. You talk about what team you want to see. You talk about what team you think we'll see. And I personally think we'll see, other than maybe a change, the exact same starting 11 as we've seen for the last 3 weeks. And that's exactly how it should be. We spoke about it last week. We spoke about it in previous weeks. How important, how vital, how key it is now that Marco Silva has his starting 11. Marco Silva has his team that he needs to play and wants to play week in, week out. And unless there's any injuries or any suspensions, that's the team that's going to play every single week. And for me, that is a massive component in, you know, in the fact that obviously the fact that we're winning games of football, we're keeping clean sheets, we're dominating teams. It's because we've got that consistency. We've got a consistent starting 11, we've got a consistent attacking line, we've got a consistent midfield, and other than the odd injury and suspension, we've got a consistent defensive line as well. And that for me is why we're going out and we're playing as a team, we're playing as a unit. You can see the lads are actually playing, you know, as an attacking unit, as a defensive unit, rather than just going out there and not really knowing where they are or what they're supposed to be doing. And that's because Marco Silva is drilling into them on the training pitch with the coaches every single day that this is going to be the starting 11 now, from now until the end of the season and in the foreseeable future. So we play like this every single week, and for me, that's why the predicted starting 11s are going to be the same pretty much every week. And it starts with Jordan Pickford in goal, of course, Luca Dean at left back, Seamus Coleman at right back, Kurt Zouma in the middle. Now, who is next to Kurt Zouma is totally up to Marco Silva. It's Marco Silva's decision. Obviously, Michael Keane had a fantastic game against West Ham United, a really solid game against Chelsea as well, being quite solid overall this season, I'd say. Definitely an improvement on last season. Of course, he had to come out of the Arsenal game due to an illness, just a stereotypical cold, I assume. Had to come out of the Arsenal game. Phil Jagielka stepped in for only his second full appearance this season. Of course, played in that 3-0 win against Cardiff, where we were defensively absolutely fantastic. Some would say the start of this amazing run that we're currently on at the minute. And then obviously played first game of the season against Wolves, but got sent off for a stupid tackle, so we won't talk about that one. Played against Arsenal, of course, got the winning goal, the goal that won us the game, and for me, defensively, was absolutely fantastic, despite some fans before the game saying, oh my god, he's going to get ripped to pieces by Lacazette, he's going to get ripped to pieces by Aubameyang and all them. They were shit. Jagielka had them all in his pocket all game, and he was absolutely fantastic. So that, for me, is the only decision that Marco Silva really has to make for this game tomorrow. Every single other player picks themselves, really, and we'll talk about the others, but they literally picked themselves. For me, it's between Phil Jagielka and Michael Keane. Yerry Mina is obviously still out injured, and it's, you know, it's Marco Silva's decision to make that. Whether he brings Michael Keane and says the Jags, you know, top performance last week, thank you very much, but let's be honest, Michael Keane is going to be the centre forward going forward. You know, Phil Jagielka's contract's up in the summer. There's no guarantee he's going to get a new contract. Whereas Michael Keane, obviously, it's pretty much guaranteed that he's going to be the Everton centre-half for the next few years at least. So it might be a case of, you know, Marco Silva saying, right, Keane, you're coming back in. We know you were out injured last week, but, you know, you're coming back in. Phil, cheers for your service, cheers for the goal, but you're going to take another, you know, another role sort of on the bench or watching from afar, and then if we needed you, you'll come in, you'll play the odd game, you're not going to get a run in the team. Or maybe Marco Silva will go, you know what, Phil, you deserve another game there. You were fantastic last week. You scored the winning goal. You were solid. You know, the couple of games you've played now in the last sort of 2 or 3 months, you've been solid. So you're going to stay in there, and, you know, at the end of the day, what's that famous saying in football? You don't change a winning team. So that's what I want to know from you guys. Obviously, this is a fan channel. We're all Everton fans here. We're all going to be watching the game tomorrow. We're all going to be there at 2 o'clock to have a look at Marco Silva's team to see who is playing. So what I want to know is, who would you start next to Kurt Zouma at centre-half? Would you start Phil Jagielka, or would you start Michael Keane? And if you bring on Michael Keane in, why? And if you keep Phil Jagielka in, why as well? Let me know in the live comments, and if you're watching it as a YouTube video afterwards, let me know in those comments as well. Of course, onto the midfield now. Andre Gomes and Idrissa Gana Gueye start for me as the central defensive midfielders. That's as self-explanatory as ever. Andre Gomes, for me, a vital part of how we perform now, a vital part of our midfield. He's so class, he's so composed, he's so confident, he's just fantastic. And you know what, sometimes he's a little bit too overconfident, he's a little bit too overcocky, and he gets himself in situations where you think, you know, maybe you should have passed it a little bit earlier. But for me, the lad's an absolutely unbelievable footballer, and if we can sign him on a permanent, I'll be absolutely made up, because I think he's fantastic. Idrissa Gana Gueye, obviously next to him, there's been a rumour in the last couple of days regarding Idrissa Gana Gueye and a possible move to Manchester United, maybe. Highly doubt that will happen. If Everton sell him, I do think it'll be abroad, probably to the likes of a PSG. I don't think we'd sell him to somebody like Manchester United. But listen, for me, Idrissa Gana Gueye, again, much like Andre Gomes in the last few weeks, has been absolutely unbelievable. The lad has been fantastic at what he does. His role is very, very tough to you know, do, and there's not many footballers in this league that can do Idrissa Gana Gueye's role like he can. But, you know, in the last couple of weeks, he's been absolutely fantastic, and, you know, picking up the ball, getting the ball back, making sure that, you know, teams don't breaking the play up in that midfield, and then the ability to, the fact that he can then pass that on to Andre Gomes, and Andre Gomes can do the technical bits. Andre Gomes can put his foot on it, drive forward, look for a pass, you know, be a little bit more composed. It means that Idrissa Gana Gueye's job is even easier, because he doesn't have to get the ball and have to drive on. He doesn't have to get the ball and have to create something, have to pass the ball, have to shoot. I know he tried a couple of shots against Arsenal, which will probably be advised to not do again because they were shocking. But, you know, Idrissa Gana Gueye now only has to pick up the bits, give it to Gomes, and Gomes can do the rest then. And for me, that partnership between them two that we've got is absolutely fantastic. And, you know, to think that in the summer we mightn't have either of them is a very scary thought. But hopefully, if we bring Andre Gomes in, we can, you know, persuade Idrissa Gana Gueye to at least stay for another season or two. But I don't know how likely that is. For me, I can only see Idrissa Gana Gueye going one way in the summer, and that's out the door, and that's unfortunate. But, you know, that's just how I see it. I do think we'll sign Andre Gomes on a permanent. I really, really do. Gylfi Sigurdsson, of course, in the number 10 again. For me, again, maybe it's one of them games against Arsenal where he's gone under the radar. I don't think he was particularly poor, but I don't think he was particularly fantastic. Listen, Gylfi Sigurdsson is an absolutely wonderful footballer. I'm still not convinced he's a number 10. I'm still convinced he's just a central midfielder with, you know, a little bit more about him than the average central midfielder. I don't necessarily think he's got the pace and the quickness to be a number 10. However, at the end of the day, he didn't do anything wrong against Arsenal. Of course, we won the game, you know, attacking. We were constantly attacking. We were creating so many opportunities, something like 23 shots, and it's quite clear that Gylfi Sigurdsson is in the centre and in the core of that. So for me, he stays in. Of course, we've got the magician Bernard on the left, Richarlison on the right, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front. For me, my front three now until we sign somebody in the summer, whether that be a striker, whether that be a right midfielder, whether that be a, you know, a left winger. Until we sign an attacker in the summer, that is my front three that should start every single game from now on. That's just my opinion, of course, but, you know, I think the three of them are absolutely fantastic. I think Bernard was absolutely fantastic again last week against Arsenal, literally a goal away from another 10 out of 10 performance. Of course, getting man of the match against West Ham the week before. Richarlison again, listen, for me, I understand some fans' frustration around Richarlison. I get the fact that, you know, he breaks and he's literally, you know, one-on-one with the goalkeeper and he'll try and turn around and do the defender another 3 times. But for me, the defensive work that those two players give you is absolutely second to none. We said that in the game review to the Arsenal game. You know, you're looking at two fantastic wingers technically, two fantastic wingers in an attacking sense, but you're also looking at two players with the work rate of an absolute horse. They are constantly tracking back, constantly winning the ball back, constantly helping out the teammates, and that for me makes Seamus Coleman's job easier and makes Luca Dean's job easier, because Bernard is constantly tracking back, running back, getting his man, winning the ball back in areas that he shouldn't really be in. Richarlison doing exactly the same, and you can look at a Richarlison, and if you looked at Richarlison against Arsenal, sorry, you'd probably look at him and go, didn't really have his best game there, but then you watch how much he does defensively, you watch how involved he is in the game from a defensive point of view, as well as an attacking point of view, and I know that's not his job, and I know some fans will argue, yeah, but he's not there to defend, he's there to score goals, but again, he's our leading goal scorer this season, isn't he? So he's very clearly doing that, but for me, the work rate that those two players offer you on the wings is just solidified their place now in the starting 11. You won't get that work rate from Ademola Lookman. You won't get that work rate from Theo Walcott, and that's why Ademola Lookman and Theo Walcott were left until the absolutely last minutes to come on against Arsenal. And I thought those substitutions were very, very tactical by Marco Silva, and I thought they were spot on. You know, if Marco Silva had brought Theo on 10-15 minutes earlier, who knows, Arsenal might have got a chance and Theo mightn't have sacked his man. I watched Theo Walcott when he come on against Arsenal because I knew that he'd leave his man at some point, and he did. He very nearly left his man, and the lad nearly ran in and scored. But, you know, just the fact that Arsenal is shit, he didn't. But Ademola Lookman and Theo Walcott don't give you that work rate that Bernard and Richarlison give you. So for me, it's important that, you know, when it comes to picking wingers, Marco Silva does pick those two, because I think they're the best that we've got. And when it comes to bringing them off, he only brings them off in a situation where they absolutely need to come off. They, you know, they're huffing and puffing, they're tired, they need to be replaced, because I think, you know, other than the sheer class that a player like Bernard gives you, and the fact that he's got a first touch like I've not seen before, he's absolutely quality on the ball, he could take on a bloody tree. That doesn't really make sense, but he could take on anything basically. And as for Richarlison as well, Richarlison very similarly, however, probably could do with learning a little bit more, because he is still a young lad. You know, other than those basic facts, I think defensively the work that those two do are absolutely fantastic, and, you know, it struggles to be matched by anybody in our squad. Of course, Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front. Again, listen, for me, absolutely unbelievable on Sunday against Arsenal. Absolute quality performance by the lad. He didn't score, however, he absolutely terrorised the Arsenal defence from minute 1 to minute 90. He was a nuisance constantly throughout the whole game, winning every single ball in the air, using his pace, using his strength, running down the wings, getting the ball, looking for other players, bringing it down, and just being an overall team player. And for me, again, he was very close to a 10 out of 10 performance. If he'd have bagged himself a goal, he'd have probably been a 10 out of 10 performance as well. The lad is absolutely unbelievable at football, and he's only going to get better. And we have the Dominic Calvert-Lewin debate every single week. We say, is he good enough to be the number 9 in next season? No, he's not. He's not, because the sheer fact is he doesn't score enough goals and he's not involved enough. However, his work rate is second to none for me. His work rate is absolutely unbelievable, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, trust me, will only, you know, he will learn to get in the right positions more often. He will learn when to shoot and when not to shoot. He will learn, and he's a good goal scorer as well. He can put the ball in the back of the net. When he's got the ball at his feet, he can put it into the back of the net. When he's, you know, winning headers in the air, he can score. It's just about that final decision making, and like I said, that will come with years. He's still very, very young, but for me, he starts 100% tomorrow. And I think with Fulham's defence, they're not the greatest, they're not the fastest. I think he could cause some real issues tomorrow, even if he just plays in that role like he did against Arsenal, sitting there causing havoc and letting Bernard and Richarlison do the run, and letting Bernard and Richarlison and Gylfi Sigurdsson create the chances, and let him just sit there and basically cause havoc, you know, in the middle of the defence. I think that'd be an absolutely fantastic tactic for Marco Silva to use. But anyway, that's my predicted starting 11. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I dare say yours won't be much different. Maybe Keane coming in for Jags, maybe, I don't know. A change in midfield. Let me know anyway. Leave your predicted starting 11s in the live comments, or if you're watching it as a YouTube video afterwards, leave them there as well. It'll be really interesting to hear what you guys have to say about that one. We'll dive straight back into the live comments now. Where are we? Jack says, will Gomez stay? I do believe we'll sign Gomez on a permanent, hopefully anyway. Ian says, haven't we had those 3 clean sheets with 4 different centre-backs? Yeah, we have 4 different centre-back partnerships. You're right. AFC 1878 says, I think we've got to the point now that with Jags' age, if we play him consistently, we would cause problems to his body. Only here to deputise in case of injuries now, in my opinion. Fair enough, and I agree. I don't think Phil Jagielka should be playing consistently whatsoever for Everton, because, you know, his age does say numbers. You know, his physicality, his physical appearance, and I don't mean that in a nasty way, but it's not that of an athlete, it's not that of a Premier League footballer. But what I'm saying is Phil Jagielka stepped in against one of the best teams in this league and done an absolutely fantastic job. So does he deserve to keep his place against like a likes of a Fulham, and then maybe be taken out, you know, in the coming weeks, because we've got some big games coming up, more specifically Manchester United, the Goodison Park, of course. David says Jack's next game will be Burnley. Gomez is staying, not confirmed obviously, but winky face. Yeah, I agree. Jack says, not an Everton fan, to be honest. Jack says, saw you on the United Stands video and subscribe to you. Thanks, Jack. Thank you very much. I appreciate, you know, everybody that comes along to the channel, watches the videos, and obviously subscribes. You know, it's an Everton fan channel, so we're only ever going to talk about Everton here. So, you know, a massive thank you to anybody that doesn't support Everton that comes over and watches and subscribe, and everybody that supports Everton as well. Where are we? Samuel says, if I was Marco Silva, I would give Jags that space until the United game. Fair enough. David says, what you watching Goldbridge for, Cam Turncoat? Jack says Goldbridge is a legend, and David says on Arsenal Fan TV, yeah. David says, is it true that Solskjaer wants Garner, Niasse and Martina for 80 million, Jack? I doubt he wants Niasse and Martina, but I do think he wanted the Garner guy. And David says, Theo to Southampton for 12 million. Any thoughts? If that's true, I'd sell him. I'd sell him for me. David says, let's go into the live comments. Ian says, think DCL will score 15 next season. I hope so. I think he's got the quality to score 15 goals. I think if he's got a striker next to him, aka a 20 to 30 goal a season striker that we all know we need to sign, I think he will benefit massively from that. And I think that will see him score more goals, and that will see him up his game, because he'll be playing next to somebody that's constantly doing that on a week-to-week basis. So that will up Dominic Calvert-Lewin's game. That will make sure his decision making is a lot better, because he knows he's got someone to compete with. David says Wags, I'm not too sure what that means. AFC 1810 says, I'd say I'd recall Balassi and play him over Bernard. And Jonathan says, lay off the drugs. Yeah, there's absolutely no chance that's happening. No chance. Bernard is absolutely fantastic. What a footballer that lad is. But anyway, yeah, listen, like I said, Fulham, you know, it's quite clear they're relegated. They're not in the Premier League anymore. As of next season, they won't be playing Premier League football. And like I said at the start of the team, it's going to be a real struggle for Fulham to come back up. There's some absolutely fantastic teams in that Championship, and it's a tough league. And the way Fulham have performed in the Premier League this season, and I know it's a massive jump from the Premier League to the Championship, and I'm not comparing Premier League teams to Championship teams, but what I'm saying is the way that they've performed, it really doesn't look good for them in the future. But that doesn't mean that we're going to go out and blow them apart, blow them away. That doesn't mean that we're guaranteed the 3 points tomorrow. Listen, on paper, sitting here now doing a preview, we should win this game. There's no excuse. It's 3 points tomorrow. It is 3 points, and I fully expect 3 points. But I also, on one hand, I'm an Evertonian and fully understand Everton Football Club, and these games in the past, we've sat here and gone 3 points, easy 3 points there. You've looked up at the telly and you've gone, how the fuck are we 2-0 down 10 minutes in here and we've lost the game? And that's just how life is being an Evertonian. If you're new to being an Evertonian, welcome, leave your hopes at the door. I robbed that one off Twitter, I'm not going to lie, I did rob that one off someone off Twitter before. But yeah, that's what it's like being an Evertonian. We understand that, and we understand that could happen, and that's why we probably do sit back at games like this and go, hang on, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. But realistically, should we be getting ahead of ourselves? We've just absolutely bladdered the team that are sitting in third in the league, and a team that are challenging for, you know, the top four, that have just beaten Napoli in the Europa League, one of the best teams in the world. You know, we're sitting here having smashed a West Ham, a team that are round about our, you know, our position in the league. So should we be sitting here going, yeah, we absolutely should be battering Fulham tomorrow? They're relegated, they were in the bottom three for however long, we should be getting the 3 points easily. We should be saying that, but we have to understand that it's not guaranteed, and we have to go out and we have to play with the exact same mentality and the exact same, you know, team talk as we did against Arsenal, as we did against West Ham, as we did against Chelsea. There was stuff in there in the Chelsea game. There was, you know, Marco Silva obviously told the lads, listen, this is a top 6 side, we need to break this, we need to go out, we need to beat them. There was something there in the West Ham game, listen, these are around our, you know, our position. If we want to get Europa League football, we need to be beating teams that are in and around us. There was something there in the Arsenal game, listen, you know, we're on a decent run of form and it's another top 6 side at home, we can, you know, we can beat them. There needs to be something in this Fulham game. We can't go out and go, that's Fulham really, innit? We should be beating them. We need to go out, and Marco Silva needs to be telling the lads, listen, if you just want Europa League football, if you want to finish 7th, we need to go and play exactly like we did against Chelsea. We need to start this game exactly like we started the West Ham game. We need to start this game exactly like we started the Arsenal game. We need to be going out and having 23 shots again tomorrow. We need to be going out and peppering the goal constantly, and with a little bit of luck, we'll score more than 1 goal. And Arsenal's defence is much better than Fulham's. You know, Fulham have got some decent players, but for me, they haven't got a decent team. They're not a team, they're not a unit, and that's why they won't be in the Premier League next season. We need to go out and we need to be having 23 shots again. We need to be performing exactly like we did against Arsenal, and we need to be continuing to do that. We can't be going into this game, we can't be walking out onto that pitch tomorrow thinking, this will be an easy win, these are shite. We can't, because they're not playing for anything. They've got no pressure on them whatsoever. They're playing to enjoy themselves, and they've got decent players. The likes of Andre Schürrle, listen, he's you know, in his day was a Champions League player. The likes of that Jean-Michel Sarri, he was told to go to the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal in the summer. Went to Fulham instead. Alexander Mitrovic can score goals. We need to understand this and make sure that we don't underestimate Fulham, despite the fact that we could be sitting here tomorrow night. I could be doing the instant match reaction at 5:30 tomorrow going, yeah, we've just won that game 5-0, and to be honest, I expected it. But I'm not going to be as, you know, I'm not going to be as silly to do that now, because I know full well what could happen. So I'm going to sit here now and say, yes, we should be going out winning this game 4 or 5-0. Yes, we should be going and absolutely blowing Fulham out the park. But we need to be coming into this game thinking, okay, another tough game away from home against a, you know, an okay team. Let's go out there and let's prove why we're, you know, better than 13 teams in this league. Why we are in the top 7 best teams in this league. Let's go out and prove that tomorrow. And it's massively important. Obviously, it's massively important for our hopes of getting in the Europa League. Of course, if we want to finish 7th, we need to be winning every game between now and the end of the season for me. Or at least, you know, not losing any game between now and the end of the season. But for me, tomorrow is a must win. It's a 3 points or nothing. There's no excuses to why we can't get 3 points against this team. Especially after blowing Cardiff out the park, blowing Chelsea out the park, blowing West Ham, blowing Arsenal out the park, and keeping so many clean sheets in recent weeks. There's no reason as to why we should be conceding goals against this team tomorrow. There's no reason as to why we should be losing this game tomorrow. So we need to go out and we need to prove that for me. David says, send me a sample. David says, we'll have 300 shots, 25 on target and win 2-0. Listen, I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all. David says, Gylfi takes on the crossbar challenge every week lately. Yeah, he's constantly hitting the bar, isn't he? Ellie says, I expect a very easy game for Everton. Fulham are one of the worst teams in England. It should be a very easy game, but you never know and you can't guarantee that. And Ian says, a pessimist I am. I think we will get 7th and Watford win the cup anyway. Yeah, and that way we wouldn't get European football at all. But on the positive side of that, it would be the best finish that, you know, we'd have expected at the start of the season. If you'd have said to any Evertonian at the start of this campaign, where do you think you will finish at the end of this year? Where do you want to finish? A lot of us would have said 7th place. We understand we're not as good as them top 6 sides. We understand we're not going to break into them top 6 sides. So 7th. So that makes that period between December and February, where we were absolute dross, seem like it doesn't really matter too much, because we still finished with it where we expected to finish. But 7th ain't guaranteed. 7th isn't even, you know, we haven't got 7. We're not even sitting 7th in the league now. So we need to go out and we need to win this game tomorrow, more importantly. And, you know, listen, we can do it. Of course we can do it. So let's go out and prove it. Anyway, Little bit off topic from the game, of course. Like we mentioned earlier on the stream, Everton have been linked to Ajax winger David Neres. He's expected to cost around 40 million euros, which is around 34 million pounds. This is according to the Telegraph. The lad is a really, really good, really, really talented young footballer. Got a lot of potential, of course, a winger. We know that, you know, we've got Balassi on the book still. We've got Vlasic on the book still. We've got Morales on the book still. There are 3 players there that mightn't be Everton players come next season. Theo Walcott's another one that mightn't be an Everton player come next season. Of course, we've got Henry Onyekuru to come back into the squad. He should get his work permit this summer, hopefully, fingers crossed. But like I said, let me know what you think on the links to David Neres in the comments section down below. And of course, like we mentioned earlier on today's team, what do you think about the predicted starting 11? Do you think Phil Jagielka deserves to keep his place in this side, or would you bring Michael Keane back in? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. David says, anyway, that'll wrap it up for tonight's team. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe. You're literally predicting everything that I'm going to say, but yeah, I am going to say more. There's a couple of more bits that I want to throw in there. You know, I thought, why not throw them in there? We've been going for half an hour. I'll go for a few more minutes. We're talking about the game now. We know it should be an easy win for Everton. We know it probably won't be an easy win for Everton, but whether it's easy or not, we need to get the 3 points, and that's all that matters. But before we go, anyway, I just want to say another couple of more things. Andre Gomez, Kurt Zouma. Listen, I think there's no saying that, you know, 90% of Evertonians want Everton to sign Andre Gomez and Kurt Zouma in the summer. Now, I think the Andre Gomez deal, like I mentioned earlier, is much more likely than the Kurt Zouma deal. I think it's very clear that Andre Gomez wants to play for Everton Football Club. He spoke very, very highly of Marco Silva. He spoke very, very highly of the fans. He spoke very, very highly of Liverpool as a city. And he's even come out, there's been rumours that he's come out and said, listen, if I'm leaving Barcelona in the summer, I'm going one place and one place only, and that's Everton Football Club. Now, obviously, that deal will lie in the hands of Marcel Brands, will lie in the hands of Marco Silva, will lie in the hands of Barcelona Football Club. Barcelona might come out and say, we want 50 million for him, and Marcel Brands might say, no, he's had a really, really good season. Thank you very much for your contributions, but no, you're not worth it. Who knows? We'll have to see how that one happens in the summer. And Kurt Zouma, of course, he's a little bit more complex, a little bit more of a difficult one for me. Chelsea, of course, got that transfer ban, which means they are not able to sign any players for the next 2 windows, I think. Now, of course, they can sell, so, you know, there is a realistic chance that we could sign Kurt Zouma, but it would mean that Chelsea wouldn't be considering him as part of their team next season. And for me, the way their defence has been this season, it's been really, really shaky at times. I think Chelsea would be stupid not to consider Kurt Zouma in their plans for next season. Of course, they know that, you know, if they sell him, they're not going to be able to replace him, and I don't think he sits in Chelsea's books as a player that they can afford to sell and not replace. So again, we'll have to see how that one goes in the summer. We'll have to see how those two unfold in the next coming weeks and months. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's team. I did want to say one more thing before I go. It's a little bit off topic, a little bit off Everton. It's more about me personally. I've been thinking over the last couple of weeks about doing a personal YouTube channel, just me sitting in front of a camera talking about sort of other things that I enjoy, you know, playing video games or films or movies, whatever. Anyway, I don't know what it's going to be about, but I've been thinking about doing it in recent weeks, and I wanted to just come on and say, would you, any of you, be interested in that? I'm fully aware that, you know, a lot of you that watch these videos are just here because it's Everton, and I understand that. I watch a lot of fan channels just because of the football club, but would you be interested in, you know, seeing my opinion on other things in life, not just Everton Football Club? If you would, it'd be really, really appreciative if you could leave it in the live comments and the comments of the YouTube video. I did put a tweet out a couple of weeks ago about this, and, you know, a couple of people said, yeah, that'd be interesting. So if you'd be interested in seeing that, let me know in the comment section down below, because I'm really, really seriously considering it, because there's a few topics in the world that, you know, I wouldn't mind talking about and having an opinion about, but I'm not going to mention them on here, of course, because this is all about Everton Football Club. So let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that in the comment section down below. David says, will get his work permit, mate. Yes, I assume he will. And David says, 25 million base fee for Gomez. We have no right to buy Zouma, and Kale is leaving. Exactly. They're already losing one centre-half this summer, so whether they'd want to sell another one without being able to buy, I don't know. And David says, you putting it on YouTube? Oh, no, I'll leave the latter. Yeah, it'll be on YouTube, mate. It definitely will be on YouTube. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's team. If you have enjoyed, please do leave a like. As per usual, leave all your thoughts about everything that we spoke about in today's team in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. It only takes a second and it really does mean a massive amount to me. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. It's at MightyBluesYT. I'll be back, of course, tomorrow for the instant match reaction to the game. Hopefully it's a positive one, and hopefully we're sitting here going, yes, another win for Marco Silva's Blues, another clean sheet. Let's go on now and carry this run of form. We've got the, the easy game out the way. Let's go on now to, and end the season on a high. And then, of course, I'll be back for the full game review at 6:15 on Monday, so don't forget to join me for that one as well. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's team. A massive thank you for watching. A massive thank you to everybody in the live comments as per usual, and a massive thank you to you all watching on YouTube afterwards. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think Phil Jagielka should retain his place in this Everton squad tomorrow for the game against Fulham, or would you bring Michael Keane straight back in and say to Jags, thanks for your service, but you're sitting back on the bench, fella? What do you think about the links to David Neres? Would you want to sign him? Have you seen much of him? If you haven't, maybe it's worth having a little look at him. I know YouTube compilations aren't the best place to start as per Umanias, but maybe have a little look about him and see what he's about. And like I said, what would you be interested in seeing? A little bit of a personal channel on my part, and what I've got to think on other situations. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's team. Massive thank you to everybody for watching. Please do leave a like if you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new. David says, nice one, mate. Third therapy session this week. Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much for the kind words. I hope you all have enjoyed. But that's going to do it from me. A massive thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.